Hi, you okay?
Yeah, I just got home. I had to go to the drugstore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, what's doing?
No, you just ran right out.
Look,
What?
he's cooking. You look over and please, I'm always into nothing. Fine. Couldn't wait to get home. Okay? You walk.
The knees?
You're great. My back is better.
Oh, good.
Not great.
Uh-huh.
And he did my leg. I was with him almost an hour. Sometimes he really works out.
Uh-huh.
And that's it. So I'm comfortable now. My feet are up.
Good. Okay.
And I'm going to take a leave or I'll take
Yes. Or the Tylenol or something.
whatever. I know. Because I can't do the life.
Mm.
So, what else? How was dinner?
I didn't like it. I didn't eat it, so.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Right. Hamburgers
No, I don't like beef, you know?
and sweet potato. You didn't eat that either.
No, and I went out with my friends, so I had stuff there, you know?
Oh, you went to the bar?
Yep.
Oh, you bumped it? You drank?
Yeah, very little.
What'd you wear?
I had, your thing that you gave me a long time ago, the twirly thing.
The twirly thing.
You know,
What twirly?
it's loose and it,
The
shoot,
twirly thing?
yeah.
What's a
It's
twirly
white,
thing?
it's white, it's very loose.
I don't remember half I gave you. I thought you'd wear your new top.
No, I don't want to wear that there.
What, too warm?
Too warm.
No. Okay,
Yeah.
so go relax. The table was filled with papers. Is it mine or yours?
Yeah, it's everybody's.
Terrible. Really? I don't know if this works. I really need
Well, there's no choice, so, everybody's got to stop, hemming and hawing, okay?
Hey, Karen.
Hey, Mike. Oh, sorry. How come it's not showing me? Oh, I got to start video. There you go. Sorry. Oh, there's 6 people in already. Awesome. Nice. Hey, Marvin, Jen, Rhonda. I don't know who Rhonda is. Ali.
Oh, there we go.
What's the squeaking?
I don't know. Somebody's squeaking.
My dog playing with her toy.
Oh.
Hey, Elise.
Hey, Lisa, how are you?
Hey.
Good to see you.
All right, I'm gonna jump for just a second and answer my door. My front
That's fine.
door.
Take us with you.
So 3 of us are brave enough to do the video. Oh,
There
there's
it
Marvin.
is.
Hey, Marvin. Great to see you. How are you?
I'm doing okay. It's kind of the end of the office day, but it's far from the end of my day here. So,
Right, because you're on the West Coast, 3 hours earlier.
yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Marvin, you can't pass this up. A chance to see each other face to face. Come on, it's a bonus.
Absolutely, man. I had to get on, you know.
I was smiling when I saw your name on there. I said, "Oh, this is great."
Yeah, so we just need Jennifer and Rhonda to show up and show their face.
Jennifer, Rhonda, turn your microphones on and
Yeah,
put your cameras on.
yeah, thanks for joining us. So Marvin, how are things out on the West Coast? What's going on for you out there?
They're busy. We have a lot of folks who are getting ready for that are getting ready to graduate. So I got a lot of students who are getting ready to go out into the world, into the work world. So making sure that they have everything that they need. And then we also have the new students coming in. So dealing with kind of the sticker shock of, wait, you guys won't do this and you don't do this and you won't provide this. And
Imagine it, right?
it's the what I call the double transition, but it's also fun, you know, just seeing the folks get out of here and, you know, excited to go. Some scared, but mainly excited to go out into the work world and finally practice all the stuff that they've been learning for the longest time. So
It's so great to have you part of this because, you know, you see at a different level what we've been trying to implement all along. And, you know, you're seeing kids come into college that still have no experience with AT at all.
oh,
which
yeah.
is amazing.
Exactly. It's
Isn't it?
crazy. That's nuts when you think about that.
Well,
Yeah.
and it's really bad when you you know, I'll start to talk with the parents now because we have a parent section of orientation for traditional students, so for first years, and a lot of them are just completely gobsmacked. They said, "Well, wait, I could get what? We should have had what?" So
it's crazy.
Yeah. And we work, I mean, Mike and I, we say, well, I always say I want to work myself out of a job. And it's just not going to happen anytime
No.
soon because
Never.
it's just crazy. Oh, wait, I got to plug in my, I'm going to lose power. So hold on one
Don't
second.
do that. I'm actually going to tweet this out to the hashtag just so people know we're still meeting, but we're just meeting a different way.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Is anyone on? Is anyone on?
No, there's nobody there, so I'm looking at that too.
Okay. Yeah. Actually, let me get my iPad and I'll look at that
it looks
too.
like Jennifer's putting her kids to bed.
Oh, is that
Yeah.
what she said? Oh, that's
Yep.
funny.
Oh, right. Oh, good. Yeah. I should keep
That's
that.
great. Okay, cool. Oh yeah, I should put that up too. So
It's
much
funny
happening.
because this is a tool that I'm going to have to use with one of my students. Her wheelchair suffered a catastrophic failure.
Ugh.
So she's in her, we don't call them dorms, she's in her residential unit now. And so we set up her being able to use Zoom for a presentation she's doing tomorrow morning. And
Nice.
then we're going to use this for telepresence for her to be able to go to her class and have a student assistant take around a Chromebook with this fired up. So
Just put her in different spots. It's awesome.
Yep. We'll just take her to class and she'll be able to participate, and then we'll set her up for the next class and she'll be there, and we'll just keep going around until she has her whole day done.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's great. Huh.
It's such an easy tool to use.
Right.
I just find it to be so simple and
And
straightforward.
we've definitely used it for kids who are on hospital homebound to participate, maybe not all day in their classes, but for prime time or for instruction or whatever, they pop in for that and then they can pop back out.
Nice.
How is it working for you for that, Elisa?
I think fairly well, partially because it doesn't involve having to have administrative rights on the client end to install. So on our school board laptops, you can't do anything unless you have administrative rights, and that Zoom downloadable installable thing that happens doesn't necessitate administrator rights, even though it installs something. So it kind of can float through, and on our school board laptops, I don't have to have installed it ahead of time for them to be able to use it. So I use it for hospital homebound, but I also use it for troubleshooting my AT.
Yeah.
You know, out, you know, especially if I've got a therapist who's out in the boondocks, I'll Zoom chat with her, and that way I can take over her screen. I can problem solve with her. and not have to drive an hour and a half.
Yeah, right.
That sounds
Yeah,
good.
that's what I've done recently too. I did some virtual consultations and it saved me from driving an hour and a half. And
Yeah.
and then they're also direct and to the point, like you can just do it and, move on. Oh, Maureen is joining us.
Why? I like how my grid keeps getting smaller. I'm so
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah.
It splits, and there it
I'm
is.
such a simple man. All I need is simple things to happen. And I'm like, oh, look, it's so great.
All the people.
It's so much
There's
fun.
Maureen. Okay,
Hey.
good. Yeah, you got to unmute your, we want to hear you, so unmute your mic. Same thing with Rhonda and Jennifer. Feel free. Which Jen? Is this Jen Edge Savage?
I don't know. It's
We
just
don't know.
I love it. It's just Jennifer. I'm gonna
How
So I
is it-
wonder about this being a possible tool for parents who aren't able to attend IEP meetings. Because we place them in the middle of the day.
Mhm.
So if I've got a parent who is working, is it possible for them to take maybe work well with the boss, take a late lunch, but then at least zoom in from their phone from the car or whatever and be able to be part of the meeting like that instead of not being able to be part of the meeting.
Yeah,
Mm.
I would think
And
so.
then
too. Why not?
combine it, then if there's some English language issues, how about if you do it with PowerPoint or Google Slides, they both do the automatic instantaneous translation.
Yeah.
So that's another way I know that in the past, they've hired transcribers to completely transcribe the entire IEP, and it costs
Right.
thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
It's really, I can't believe how expensive it is. But
Yeah.
these are much less expensive.
Yeah. And if you have someone who's fairly good as a typist, I can turn on the captioning now and I can assign that job to one of you.
Right.
And you could just type along. I can't, but maybe somebody could.
See, I've got real-time captionists on staff.
Yeah.
So what I would do is just have one of them come in and do that. And that's different departments can have like department meetings, and maybe they want to have a transcript or they want to have captions for their meetings. So then we go ahead and set it up with that. So yeah, it's great.
Yeah, that is really great. I like that a lot. Yeah, it's a great tool and not that expensive. And you can't go wrong there.
Yeah, I've got the free version,
The
gives you
free.
minutes. Then when you run out of 40 minutes, you just hang up and
Oh, I'm
start
back.
going.
That's right. It's
Yeah.
so perfect. I did that for a whole semester with my master's class of doing that with the free version. And I would break our meetings up, our classes up into 35-minute chunks. And then I would send them on an activity. And I'd say, all right, do your activity. And when you're done, I'll send you a new link. And then we do 35 more minutes.
Oh, great.
Wow.
Rhonda showed
Hi, Rhonda.
Rhonda's in. Hi, Rhonda. And Jennifer told us who she is in the
Hello,
chat.
Jennifer.
So great. They've used it to plan their statewide regional
Awesome.
Wisconsin AT meetings. So Rhonda, you can unmute yourself and join in with us. Tell us what brings you here tonight. We're excited to see you. Oh, but you're still muted.
Working it out.
Yeah.
Wait,
Maureen, how about you? What's going on?
There you go. Uh-oh.
Oh, can't hear you.
Can't hear you. Let me see.
Can't hear you, Maureen.
Let me wave my host magic wand and see if I can fix that.
Oh.
I can't. No, I thought I could, but I can't.
You have no powers.
I have no power. Zero. No.
Do you have a microphone plugged in, Maureen?
We can't read
What'd
lips.
she say?
That might have been it.
I think she left to
That's
get
awesome.
something. She,
There it is. Oh, okay. She's.
oh,
That doesn't make me happy. That's showing poorly on the snowball.
and you
That's
love
not
that.
good. It's not good.
Oh, you're
Maybe
gonna
it
have to.
wasn't
Oh, it's not
plugged
plugged in.
yet.
How many tech people does it take?
First rule of tech support. Is it plugged in?
Is it plugged in? Yeah. So Rhonda, how about you? Let's check your mic. Can we hear you?
No.
No.
No, Rhonda, we can't hear you either. Wonder what's going on.
Oh, and Bridget. Oh, Bridget is doing some amazing stuff. How come her name is showing there?
Here she comes. There she is in
Bridget
the car.
is doing some amazing stuff.
I'm in the car.
In the car.
Hey, Bridget. Good
How
to
are
see you
you?
again tonight.
To see
Yeah,
you.
finally.
It's excellent.
Have you talked to anybody in this room about all the amazing stuff you do? Oh, we've got some other stuff. Jennifer Joanne is joining us. So,
Great.
people can feel free to, I thought maybe this would be a good opportunity to try like a SmackDown kind of idea. And because Mike and I, this is our first time trying this. So unless, other people have other questions, other thoughts, we just started like taking AT Chat to a different level.
I think the video idea is awesome. I
Yeah.
think video just makes it more people kind of see each other.
Yes.
Yeah. I think my fear at first was putting the link to Zoom just out randomly on Twitter. And I'm happy to see that had no effect on Twitter and no one showed up that shouldn't have. So I guess that's fine.
Oh, yeah. Let me just check what's going on Twitter.
Nothing. I just looked. Nothing.
Okay. Nothing at all.
Nope.
So,
That's good.
but Elise did say that she couldn't join us tonight. But, yeah, nothing else.
No, that's perfect. So do you guys think we could do this once in a while? I mean, is this something that people would like?
I think absolutely.
Yes.
Okay. Then
So
maybe-
how should we do it?
Yeah.
How can we take advantage of this visual presentation instead of just basically texting each other?
I think that one of the things that this opens up for is, like if you have the questions ahead, you can always display the questions, so that way folks can, know what we're talking about, what the topic is. But then if it's a matter of like showing your favorite program XYZ, then you can pull that up in a browser and be able to do a screen share to at least share, hey, here it is in the Play Store, here it is in the iTunes Store, or the iTunes Store, and
Yeah.
so people can kind of get to see that, or even maybe do a little bit of a demo of it if it's a computer or web-based product.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, I think, that's using the screen sharing, is a good.
Yeah, I could see that as being something. I know it's one of the things we do here in New Jersey with one of our groups. We have a users group, an AT users group, and we're called New Jersey CART. And we do these things now we call our hot topics webinars, because no one wants to volunteer to do an entire webinar, but everybody's willing to do 5 minutes. And so we pick a topic, and then everybody lines up 5 minutes worth of conversation that they can lead. And it's actually really great. I love them. I think they're awesome. And maybe we could do something like that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Maybe that takes the place of our open forum once in a while.
That was what
Yeah.
I was just gonna say.
Right?
Is to me the open forum sometimes turns into like troubleshooting or problem solving, and sometimes I don't know, like maybe it's because I'm a visual learner, like having that visual of like, this is what I'm trying to make happen and I can't make it happen, and sometimes it's something stupid that I'm not doing, and just show me, and then I know, oh, this is the piece that goes with this. So I think maybe taking the, like, maybe not even taking the piece of the open one, but maybe morphing into a, have a problem, bring it to us, and that could happen by video, or that can happen in combination with collecting things ahead of time by Flipgrid or something where we could then do problem solve.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I like that. If only someone would take notes. I got it.
Well, remember, you can also record this.
But-
And I'm already recording it. It's recording itself.
I was gonna say he's recording it. He can go back and review it later to catch all the notes.
He's got it all under control. He's the host. It says it right there on the top.
Thanks, Mike.
I
So,
set it to
Joanne, I
record
see-
automatically.
Joanne,
The host has to do the work.
Joanne, you want to test your mic? Have you been trying to participate?
Let me see.
Oh,
that
good.
sounds good. We hear you.
Good.
Hear
We
me?
can hear you. Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having us.
How did you find out about it? Do you usually come to the chat?
I actually have been going to the Twitter on Wednesday nights, but I never participate. I always.
Whoa, that's great.
We drew you out, Joey. Look at that. We had to find your mode that you were comfortable with, and we pulled you out.
So this is less threatening and intimidating than tweeting.
Yes, I guess so for me.
Wow, I did not expect something like that to happen.
Yeah, that's great. Are you what do you do? Are you an AT specialist?
Yes, I am. I've been doing this for the past. I've been a special ed teacher for over 35 years, and then for the past 10 or 12 years, I've been doing the AT.
And where are you?
Well, I was at Jericho for all those years, and then I retired because when the new head of the department came in, they got rid of AT completely. So I said, I cannot go backwards. I cannot go back and not do AT. So then I retired, and then I now work in Lindenhurst on Long Island, and they're fantastic. They've got 8 schools, and they all have Chromebooks. It's just a wonderful way to integrate the AT with the rest of the classroom. It's just really, there's so much success from that in just these past 2 years that I've seen so much growth with children, you know. I'm blabbering here, but we used to have to train students on Dragon Naturally Speaking. It would take a whole 6 months to get them to get the voice recognition. And now you just go on to Chrome, you go on to either Google Doc or you go on to Read and Write Phone, and it's so fantastic for these kids. It's so easy for them.
Right.
So anyway, that was, I'm just very excited about the technology is continually changing. And when you have the administrators all for it, then you see it trickle down and you see the students progress. So that's where I'm at.
That's great. That's great that you have administrator support.
Yes.
And you're making a difference in your district. Fantastic. Yeah. Bridget, I know that you have so much. Bridget is like on, I don't know how much you can share in just a few minutes, but Bridget is doing some unbelievable work that is going to advance writing, written expression tremendously.
So, tell us.
Karen, you are too kind.
And Bridget's driving too.
What,
That's a bold move.
I am driving. I was thinking I would just listen in.
Well, yeah. All right. Well, just share whatever.
I mean, I'm driving and not really looking at the screen much at all.
Good. Don't want to be.
I'm trying to drive and look at the road instead of looking at Mike and Karen.
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan.
Sorry, I hope you're not offended. It's your first video thing you're doing, and I'm not even looking at you.
Okay.
Oh, and Tiffany is just joining us from Oklahoma too. Hey, Tiff, how are you?
I'm good. I just got home.
Very good.
Excellent.
Not much fun happening in Oklahoma. Other than it's a beautiful day and I want to go outside.
Oh, is it?
It is.
Yeah. Not here.
But also have one of our classic sunsets.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So how many participants? We've got 10 participants, 10 people in here. Anybody want to share anything in particular where we've got the screen sharing capability?
Have you all talked about apps? Checked out the Envision app?
Wait, there's a lot of static now.
I'll find that person and shut them down.
Oh, you can do that?
It was Bridget as she drove. Bridget, if you want to talk, just wave your hand and I'll turn you back on.
Oh, okay.
Perfect.
So Marvin, sorry, what were you saying?
So Envision Technologies has an app which is, you can actually use it, put it on a phone, put it on a mobile device, and point it at text, and it'll actually do a good text-to-speech read of it. Doesn't necessarily do it, well, it'll kind of do an OCR because it'll do the text-to-speech read of it, but it's nice for kind of quick study where, like for our students, I'm off in the library, I may be gathering materials for doing research. They can use it for being able to find out what they want, and then they get us the list, and then my alt media person will go ahead and grab their materials for them. But it's nice, it's free, it's kind of point and shoot, easy to use.
I'm sorry, Marvin, what was it that I missed the name of it?
It's called Envision. Let me see if I can pull it up here on the Google Play Store. So hold on while we hit that, and then I go to Envision.
So how does that differ from Seeing AI, or?
It's just another option.
No,
It's
I just
a free one,
wondered.
It's nice.
Yeah, and also now Winston just came out with Voice Dream Scanner.
Yeah, I got that.
Got it. Let's see if I can do this.
Okay,
And
you're doing it.
all right, we're doing all the things now.
Oh, cool.
Yep. So that's it on the Google Play Store. I believe it's also on the iOS store. And it also will do, if you point and shoot at pictures, it will do a alt text or give you a description of the images.
Wow.
Okay.
How's that description, Marvin? Is it pretty accurate?
It's pretty good. I've been surprised. Usually I'll look at stuff like this and I'll just, it won't have anything good and I'll just call it trash and then I'll just like leave it alone. But this one actually has kept my attention because it's been growing.
Interesting. The thing I like about this is that it has an Android app versus Seeing AI, which does not.
Right.
So I mean,
Yeah, I think Seeing AI, they're working on that though, aren't they?
Yeah. That's the last thing I had heard from someone. Maybe Mike, maybe?
Last I heard, yes, they were working on it. And then the other thing that they're working on is in the Office Lens.
Okay.
The next one that's supposed to come out with it is supposed to be able to look at spreadsheet type things and convert it into Excel.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's
and
pretty
I can't
cool.
wait for that to happen.
Oh, that's really cool. Oh, this is
But
neat.
I also can't say enough about the Voice Dream Scanner. And we're working on the dyslexia handbook here in Oklahoma, and I'm working on the assistive technology section. And I can scan a picture and then copy and paste the text out into my Word document that we're using.
Nice.
It's really cool.
Nice. Yeah, I haven't played with the Voice Dream Scanner yet. I have it up on my phone to remember to buy it, and I just never do.
Yeah, I just bought it, but I haven't had a chance to really play with it yet.
Yeah.
My son I looked at it too. I've got it, and I can't remember what Chris said about it because he uses Speechify, and I can't remember what he said about Voice Dream Scanner. He also there was something on oh my goodness, what's that crowdfunding thing? Kickstarter. There was something on Kickstarter a few years ago, the Caesar scanner, which allows you to quickly scan an entire book in 30 minutes. So he has been getting books from the library and doing that, and really loves that option. I think with the Voice Dream Scanner, because he likes to scan books, so yeah.
You can do batch with the scanner.
Right,
the nice
right.
thing about the scanner is it has the standalone, but if you're inside your Voice Dream and you know you're going to save it as a PDF and you're going to want to use it multiple times, you can access the scanner straight from in there, and it automatically saves it within your drive.
Yeah.
On your Voice Dream for your Bookshare, and it's just as easy as I had a 6th grader who's never had assistive technology. This was his first week looking at stuff, accessing it and taking copies of worksheets and using it in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, isn't that fantastic?
Awesome.
How awesome. Now, are we just seeing your screen, Marvin, still, or what are we?
No, we're back.
I'm seeing
We're
you.
back.
Okay.
Back to the grid.
Oh, I've got it.
I put the link in the chat box.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Link to it on the Google Play Store.
Perfect. I see that it has it's a pay app after 2 weeks.
Ah,
I'm trying to get a sense of what you get still after 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's
It's
that
a
is
14
good.
well, and I don't know if that's the Android one too. I'm looking at the App Store for Apple.
Okay. Well, that's
It's got a monthly subscription of $5, an annual of $40, and a lifetime of $200.
And for a lot of my students who are visually impaired, that is definitely, because I see it all. A lot of my students who are visually impaired, it's definitely what they would go through. And of course, Department of Rehabilitation would pay the $200.
Yeah, right, exactly. And they wouldn't think twice. Yeah, that's for
Right.
sure. Yeah. That could arguably be the best $200 they would spend that day, probably.
Oh, the other thing is that it will also read handwriting. I saw that, and that just that threw me. It floored me. I was running around having people just write stuff and then just trying it, and just trying to find more people. You come here, write something, and then trying to see just how bad you could write in order for it to read it, and it's pretty impressive. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
I'm gonna try to break it right now. Yeah, I'm gonna try to break it.
Seeing AI too, I show that feature in Seeing AI to people and they are just blown away. Or even the instant, the short document,
Right.
instantly reads it, they can't believe it.
Yep.
And it's here's Beth.
Beth has joined the party.
Hi, folks. Coming in a little late.
That's okay. We're just trying to test out this new type of technology for AT Chat to see how to use it to its best advantage.
Wow, I gotta say that I just tried that in Vision, and there's my handwriting, if you can see it, which is what I would classify as really crummy.
Yeah, you need some OT intervention, I think.
I need lots of intervention. OT would be a great start. And it read almost everything.
Yep.
That's great.
That was really good.
Now try it, compare it to Seeing AI. And does VoiceStream Scanner also read handwriting? I can't remember.
Not handwriting yet.
Okay.
I understand he's working on it. The other one that's really good for handwriting, though, is Notability.
Notability does a good job.
Yeah, Notability
Yeah.
does do a good job.
Yeah.
What about Rocketbook? Does that do a good job on handwriting?
I haven't had much success with mine.
Yeah, yes, Rocketbook is okay, but it's not necessary. I mean, I haven't done it for the OCR port so much as just pulling it in as a archiving things.
Yeah.
Okay, the head-to-head battle is over.
Who won?
And in Vision won. It won pretty significantly.
Interesting.
Yeah. Same picture, same, obviously the same handwriting, but yeah.
No, and again, I think it's because it's modeled around being able to provide access for folks with visual impairment. So it's going to kind of crunch harder. It's kind of like I have some students who come in with LD who people have been trying to get them to learn JAWS to be able to read documents and things because which is
Oh God.
it's not the way that I would approach it.
Yeah.
It's trying to maximize the power of the
Somebody
tool.
totally
That's all.
turned off of using technology to make it as complicated as possible.
I was gonna talk about going from 0 to 100 in 3 seconds. Wow.
You would be surprised. I've had people who come in and they I've had students who have not wanted to use AT because of things like that. They've said, well, they had this program and you had to just use keystrokes and I couldn't do it and it was too hard and I said, well, what was the name? Something like a shark. It was JAWS. Yeah, I hate that.
Something like a shark.
Something like a shark.
So they named it the right thing because it'll eat you alive if you're not ready for it.
Oh,
Yeah, right. Oh, that's good. So that's, maybe it's doing some more of these comparisons to really understand what the difference is between the quality, because some of the features are similar, but the quality of the OCR and how quickly it will, text to speech and what you can do with it beyond that, just identifying what are the features that are important. But there's so much.
Have you tried Google Translate, going English to English for that?
What do you mean?
So Google Translate will let you do a feature where you can, how is that still on? So it will let you do this feature where you can, I apologize, I am horrible at doing two things at once. You can use your camera to actually translate images like signs, and it will do it on the fly. But you can do, let's see here, I want to skip that. I want to do English to English. Because you can set the language that you want.
Right. It just never occurred. English to English didn't click for me.
Right?
Oh, it's fighting on me now. Oh, come on.
So how are you inputting the English?
You can use your camera to do it. Oh, what? Wait a minute. I have a brand new phone here. I'm running Android 9, and it looks like it's gone.
Oh.
Okay. Well, you could.
You know, one of the things that I've just recently learned about while you're figuring that one out, Marvin, is in Google Keep. This question came up recently. You know, sometimes we have kids record their voices, do some voice recordings. And what is really nice about, we use speech recognition. What's really nice about Google Keep is it does both. It does the voice recording and instant speech recognition, but you don't lose what the student recorded. And sometimes that's needed because, you know, if they can't always remember exactly what they've said when they go back to edit their work. And then you can just bring it right into a Google Doc and you've got, you know, so that's something that I, you know, have been showing people.
Well, and we've used that portion of it as kids being able to brainstorm for their writing when they're away from the computer using Google Keep. And then because you can side by side kind of Google Docs with Google Keep just hanging out on the right side, then they can just drag and drop them over.
Right.
But then they don't have to be at the computer to do the brainstorming. They can be sitting, you know, wherever, brainstorm, and then go back later and do their writing.
I have to try that. That's a good idea.
Google Keep,
it's
another example.
a great option. The other thing that I just discovered watching a webinar that Mike did 2 weeks ago is in OneNote, you can handwrite in OneNote, and then you can select it, and it instantly converts your handwritten math. I'm talking about math. You can instantly convert your math handwriting into text, and then it will even solve the question, the problem for you, and show you the steps of how to solve the problem.
Yeah, Photomath.
Photomath does that too, but this is within this is within OneNote. I was so impressed with the quality of that as well.
That's impressive.
Because then you don't have to transfer it from a Photomath into something else. Yeah, there's so many options. Why are we keeping these secret from kids?
I don't think we're keeping things secret. I have a hard time because right now my current school is Chromebooks and iPads. And plus we still have some old PCs hanging around. So there's not one perfect device. And trying to get people to use multiple devices just confuses them. And if I have a kid in a class and everyone's using Chromebooks and he's on an iPad, he wants a Chromebook.
I agree 100%. I think you've got to, you know, Carolyn Musselwhite has a saying, dance with the partner you came with. And I think sometimes we have to remember that like, for example, like our district is almost 100% Chromebook. We're getting some iPads in there. And I have nothing against the Microsoft product line at all. But until something like OneNote, until I find it to be a lot more stable than I have on the Chromebook, I need to stick with things that, and also like, I need to be able to push things out through Google Classroom because that's how teachers are doing it. If I make it too complicated for the teachers, even if the kids get it, it's not going to happen.
Absolutely. I find the same thing is true with tools because some of the tools, like the Don Johnston tools, Snap and Read, if you're a Google school and you have Google Read and Write, can you sell Snap and Read and Co-Writer? Probably not. I don't know. It's hard for me to justify going back and forth between different devices and different tool sets.
I think sometimes what we have to do is you have to respect what people are using, you might make some decisions when kids hit a certain wall, like do the best that you can in the tools that you have available to you. And then if the kids hit a certain wall and there's nothing that's available that is going to make happen what they need to have happen, that's when you try the different thing and you introduce something. But introducing it like, I love this app, this is so wonderful, this will do everything you want it to. If it's not what everybody else is using, it's going to be more difficult to make that happen. And it's interesting because I think it was different than a number of years ago when we didn't have one-to-one with everything and you could pull out, you know, the best one. And now it's less about the best one and making the tools that are available efficient and effective.
Well, and in the theory of the grass is not always greener, we are not a one-to-one district. We are not anywhere near, I don't think, ever getting there. And so sometimes I wish I could say all of these kids have this one device, Chromebook, iPad, whatever, like let's work within one framework. But right now it's like I've got iPads, I've got like 3 Chromebooks in my district, and you know, and predominantly we're a Dell PC based district. So I'm in the middle of 4 different worlds where well, I mean, we have like 3 classrooms in a 30,000 kid district that are one-to-one.
Wow.
Well, and here in Oklahoma,
welcome to Florida.
Here in Oklahoma, the student I'm working with right now, the district's one-to-one once you get to 7th grade on Chromebooks. But in the 5th and 6th grade center, they use Chromebooks. They use they've had grants where they got iPads, and they've had grants where they've gotten MacBook Pros. So they use all 3. But instead of making sure the student has one device that works great, they expect him to pull in and out based on whichever one's in the classroom. I'm like, no, we're stopping that now. He gets one place to think because he can't remember what works on which one. This is 4th and 5th graders. They can't remember what works on everything.
One interesting thing that we've been bringing up in our district is the majority of our districts are all Google districts around our area. And we are one-to-one with Chromebooks, but all of our post-secondary options are all using Blackboard and Microsoft products. So I think like, I don't know, the Microsoft person's got it off like 90% or something like that. And so are we doing a disservice to our students who, and we've worked with the disability services departments at some of our tech schools, and you know, they're like, well, we're not changing. So what happens when that student moves on and all they know are Google Read and Write, and that's not what's being offered, or they know the Google, they know some of the accessibility features within Google products. And I actually was working with another district through my private practice, and one of the OTs had, she's got a very intelligent, you know, successful son who was starting his freshman year of college. And she said that, you know, even with a straight A honors student, he struggled with making that switch to Microsoft products in school. So I think it's a big area that we really need to take into consideration and kind of figure out for students.
So Marvin, what do you see at the college level? Because that is, you know, we are kind of trying to show them a variety of options and devices, but what do you see at what happens when they get to college?
The reality is the laptop is still king, period. It's not going to go away. Chromebooks are nice. Chromebooks cannot do what these students will need to do. They need to run SPSS, a statistics program. Chromebooks cannot do that. All the stuff that they're going to need to be able to do, a laptop can do, a computer can do. They need to know. I have students who come in who don't know how to use a computer. Okay, so they're running into that. Folks who are fortunate enough to have some exposure to AT, and they come in, but a lot of times they'll come in expecting us to provide the same thing that they had in high school. And what they told you is right. We're not going to change. We're not going to go through and do it because we're not required to. We don't have to. And the thing is that their workplace is not going to change. That's the most important thing. You can have people who, I see students all the time, we just switched from Kurzweil to Read and Write. And I have people who say, well, and I was talking with the Kurzweil sales rep for the area saying, well, we can do everything that they can do. I said, why can't you read spreadsheets then? There's silence. Can you go through and for a student that I have that's working in this AI environment on this machine, can you actually have this read to them the output that they're getting? Oh, you can't? Guess what you can't do? Come to my campus and be able to be used by my students, because I'm not going to let that kind of tool limitation keep them from getting what they need. So I would say the best thing you can do is show them a variety, but keep in mind, what is it that the tool is supposed to be doing? If the tool is primarily text-to-speech, then okay, it's understanding we're using this for the text-to-speech, this is what this is how you do that, and keep an eye on that transition, especially if they're going to be going to college. If they know what school they're going to go to and they're certain that they're going to go to that school, start working early with the Disability Services Office with that school, find out what they use, and if you have access to it, see if you can get the student early access to it. But if you don't have access to it, make sure that they understand the similarities between what they're using and what they will be using.
Yeah. We just had this conversation yesterday in a workshop that I was doing, and it was exactly that. It's that the kids in our K-12 who are so ingrained in Google tools need to understand the functions that they're using of the Google tools.
Yes.
Understand what it is, so that as they move forward, if they get to one of those situations or they get to a workplace, I shared a story with the group that I support a student who graduated high school, went right out into the community to work. And his workplace is a manufacturing plant that runs very specialized database software to manage their manufacturing plant. He doesn't understand how to use it in the space. And so what ended up happening...
You got an echo?
I got it. It's Bridget again. Now she's out of the car. I saw her. It was her again. But he was not able to do anything. And when I was talking to him, I was the only person on his team that transitioned. His school team didn't serve him anymore, but I served him through VR. So I saw him in both places. And in talking to him, I said, how's it going at work? And he said, it's not going well because I don't know how to use these tools. And I'm going to go into the owner of the company and demand that we start using Google Drive and the Google tools.
Good luck.
I'm about to give you a suggestion as friend to friend. Don't do that. He doesn't want to hear from you. He doesn't want to hear from you about that. We need to figure out how to have you understand better how to navigate his system. And it was a really interesting conversation, which made us go back to his school and his transition team and say, how can we do this better with the next?
Yeah, it sounds like we definitely have to do transition a lot better in terms of preparing kids for their next disability services and their next technology.
Yeah, their next technology need, whatever that's going to be, whatever as they move forward.
Now, I would like to just comment on, or at least have a question about what Marvin said. When he says the laptop or the laptop computer is king. I just, with being in schools, and I'm not in higher ed, I'm in K through 12. I do think that, iPads and Android handheld devices and Chromebooks have wonderful features, but I think when we're looking at kids that especially those kids that really have the higher cognitive levels or the higher potential for cognitive learning and higher level learning, I just wonder if we are limiting what they really can do if we have them on something else other than just a full-blown computer.
Mm.
And I'm just throwing that out to you guys because I'm always curious about that. I think it's, I think it is good to look at what districts already have and to capitalize and maximize what they already have. But then when you get those kids here and there, they could really fly a lot more with the full versions of the programs because there are still so many PC-based, and really PC and Mac, I'm talking about computer-based programs that are far more fully functional than the iPad programs and the Chromebook programs and the Googles of the Google things. So I don't know. I'd be curious to know what people think about that.
Yeah.
I was waiting for someone else to say something. Yeah. I think there was, and you know, if the tools that they're using in schools are Chrome based, there's nothing that says you can't use a full blown laptop, and I think that has to be part of the conversation at times.
Is that part of like a computer applications program or some course or something at the high school level?
But when you look at it from the IT department standpoint, one of the reasons we go with Chromebooks so much, aside from price points, is the maintenance. And if it automatically updates and it doesn't get viruses and all that jazz, it's a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
But, and I'm not putting, we're not putting images on everything every summer. It automatically does it. We're not doing all that maintenance. And it's
I think part of the problem with it is we turn them off. That's the thing. Chromebooks, iPads, all those things don't get turned off. I had, when I was in Delaware, when iPads were first starting to become the thing, I had a teacher came to me and was like, you got to help me get a cart of iPads. Why do you want a cart of iPads? Because of these things here. And I said, well, didn't we just get you a cart of laptops like a year and a half ago? We did. Let's see what happens if. So went with her to IT, and I said, I want one guy who watches her stuff. She's never going to turn these off.
Yeah.
She's going to leave them on, and the kids are going to come when they're going to use them, and then they're never going to get shut down. They're always going to be left on. When they're done, this guy is going to make sure that they're still up. And when 3 o'clock in the morning runs, like most people don't realize, when you turn your computer off, 3 o'clock in the morning, it's looking to do an update. So people complain about how slow their computer is. Yeah, because your computer's trying to download the updates that it's been wanting to do, but it can't because you've had it off. Right. So I think that there's changes in computer-based technology where if you get solid-state drives, which now are like crazy cheap. I just got a terabyte drive for my MacBook. I have a 2008 MacBook, okay, 2008. I just put a 1 terabyte drive in it. It boots up in 25 seconds.
Wow.
I went from 2.5 minutes to 25 seconds. And I was just changing the drive. So I think there's stuff like that that can be done. And the IT people actually can do more with the computers on the PC side and on the Mac side. But I think that it has its challenges, especially if you're dealing with a lot of old hardware that you have. So you can get, and Chromebooks are cheap, but the thing is that, they require you to have that internet connection. 40% of the students that we have here in Central California don't have Wi-Fi at home, or they don't have high-speed internet access at home. They use their phones. So that's a reality for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yep, that would be absolutely a large population of my school that and they're elementary school students, but if their parents don't have computers either, all they have is their phones.
Right. Right. That's a very real thing that we need to think of too, is the phone has become the primary device for many people.
not for me, Mike.
What's it? All right, besides you. Besides you.
Oh, good. We've got Shelley and Kelly that just joined us.
I wanted to jump in on that though, and I think that in our district, it really is a dollars and cents sort of decision. I think that Chromebooks are so much cheaper that we can afford to be one-to-one, unlike a laptop. But I also think that the appeal of them has to do with everything being more cloud-based. And so because we're using Google, students aren't saving anything to a device, so anybody can pick up that Chromebook and use it. It can be assigned to multiple students because they're logging in. All of their settings, then their favorites, all of that, it can be used on any device. So I think there's a lot of things like that that appeal to our technology department. but I think it really does come down to the money, for at least for us, and we're the 4th largest district in Wisconsin, and I would say our K through 2, our pre-K through 2 is almost 1-to-1 with iPads, but then anything 3rd grade and up is all Chrome-based products. And we're looking at starting to upgrade our Chrome-based products to touchscreen. So we lease all of our devices, and as those leases are coming up in the next year, our technology department has told us now that they're looking at touchscreen Chromebooks, which our staff all got brand new Windows touchscreen laptops this year, and they are Windows-based laptops, but our students now, I think because the price point has come down on those touchscreen Chromebooks, they're looking at providing that UDL for everybody, which I think is good.
We kind of in the same place. We're not leasing, but like, for example, we were just told that we can purchase, we didn't have one-to-one in our kindergarten. We had it pretty much 1st grade and up. And they just offered us, and we had a choice. You could get for a cart, so for the same price, you get 15 iPads, 20 touchscreen Chromebooks, or 30 regular Chromebooks. It was just interesting. And so it really did they gave us a choice, and it really did, in cases come down to dollars and cents. And I think that's one of the reasons that school districts are, and that even when we're using desktop computers, it's still, we're using Chrome, and we're using Google. Now, I'm at the elementary level. They may be using Microsoft products more at the high school level. And maybe middle school is where it's crossing over or something like that.
What about using like Office 365 kind of stuff on Chromebooks?
Right, and I think our high schools are using Office 365, and whether it's on desktops or Chromebooks or a mix of both. And so, I think that's happening. But at the elementary level, the district has invested in not only money in the hardware, but an enormous amount of time in training on the tools on Google. And so while a teacher, we all have access to Office 365, and while nobody would be told you can't use that, the default, certainly at the elementary level and probably at the middle school level too, is classroom. And I think it's because the rollout of training has been very heavily that way. And it's evolved. I mean, this has just been in the last 5 years that this has happened.
So I want to change the conversation for a minute. We have just a few minutes left.
Ooh.
Let's talk about using this type of tool for chat. Advantages, disadvantages. Should we do it again? What do people think about this? Because this was an experiment, and so what do people see as the advantages and disadvantages compared to other, our traditional Twitter chat?
I see smiling faces.
What?
I see smiling faces.
Yeah.
It's nice to see faces, but I think we limit ourselves from other people joining in as easily. And I know, so I teach a graduate course, and one of their assignments is to participate in the Twitter chat, and it's very intimidating for people. And I think this would be even more intimidating. They feel like they're laying themselves out there. And I think this is would be even more intimidating. I love seeing you guys. And for those of you, like, you're my family in a lot of ways, AT chat. I think for those who are not a part of it, it might be very intimidating.
Well, you missed what Joanne said earlier. She said she lurked on Twitter for a long time with AT chats. And she spoke right up with the Zoom. So she actually was the opposite.
It was the opposite.
Right, Joanne?
Yes.
What's next? You're not lurking.
I'm not lurking. I just wanted to see Mike's beard.
Well, there you go. Enjoy. Soak it up.
Hi, this is Kelly here.
Yeah, Shelly.
You'll notice that this is the very first time I have ever been on an AT chat.
Yes.
And the reason is because I saw you were doing it on Zoom, you'll also notice that it's just my name at the moment, not because, frankly, I look like H at the moment. But so I have that option of just being able to communicate auditorially with people, and I figured, hey, this is a great opportunity for me to lurk. I use Zoom with various clients of mine across the nation. I'm quite familiar with it. I love it. I love the ability to do the screen share and just all that other sort of stuff. I mean, it's far beyond anything you can do with Twitter. Plus, if you're a slow typist like me, you know, being able to just talk your mind is much easier. So if you're going to keep doing this on Zoom, I'll be inclined to participate. If it's on Twitter, I really don't like social media, so I probably wouldn't. So my 2 cents.
Hey,
Yeah, I
Shelley.
agree.
Hey,
I
Shelley.
agree.
Yeah.
Shelley, it's Mike. Did you see the link from the Quiet listserv? I'm just curious.
Yeah, that's. I was just checking my mail, and I saw that, and I said, it's almost over. I'm actually on Mountain Standard Time in Arizona at the moment, but so I'm 3 hours earlier than you guys on the East Coast.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how I got on.
Good. That's what I figured. Okay, good. I'm glad that I put it up there then. That's awesome. Yeah, I agree with people that what they're saying in the chat as well is let's just try both. Let's just throw it out there once in a while. Let's just do it that way.
Even that we can have the chat going on as well. And so, but you know, there are some disadvantages. Some of us talk more than others, just like some of us tweet more than others. So, and we
And you
didn't
have to be dressed.
You have to get dressed.
I agree. I tend to do the chat sitting in bed watching TV.
Yeah.
But that's okay. This is fine too.
Well, and I could listen in while I was driving. That's a benefit.
That was a
Couldn't do it if
benefit.
it was Twitter.
And you made it home, and I watched you walk in the house, and I felt very good
Right.
about that. I was like, all right, she made it.
And like Kelly says, perhaps we can only speak in so many character counts. Yeah. So, or put a time limit on it or something. But and again, we thought about trying it as an app SmackDown, which obviously it didn't work out that way. But because it was the first time.
Marvin used an app. Marvin showed us an app.
Yeah. But again, it was more like an open forum type of thing.
But maybe going forward, we'll think about a certain topic, and then if people want to prep something to share, and we'll just go around, and we'll just share. No, I
And
think
now,
that's
Mike,
fun.
you can take the video, put it in your Google Drive, and share it to the Wakelet.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yes. I'll do you one better. I'm going to put it in my Google Drive. I'm going to upload it to YouTube so that it has captions on it also, and then we can see it everywhere.
Oh, that's great. Because Jennifer said, yeah, the narrative of the chat is always retrievable versus recording the Zoom.
Yeah, right.
And that Wakelet does make it easy to follow up.
Yeah, I will do both of those things.
Yeah,
tomorrow.
I mean, it's not like we'll do this every week. It's just every so often
Yeah.
we can try the Zoom.
I like it. I think it's a good option.
You should do this at Ed Camp.
Yeah, right. Have it as a session. Have some of the sessions be zoomed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think
So
would
that
be
way we can bring in people from who are not at ATIA to be part of it.
Maureen's talking about your ed camp.
Well,
I
or
am.
people who
You're
don't
next.
have much of a tech world like us in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
What did you
Yes.
say, Tiffany?
Or being able to go to a tech ed camp is fabulous because here in Oklahoma we don't have one at all.
Yeah.
We have no tech conference.
Well, I enjoyed this. I would join in either way, but I think it's important. I do think it's important to have some of it be to stay true a bit to the Twitter chat, because that is a way to build I think it's a value to have both.
Yeah.
That'll be my final words, because my battery on my phone's going to die, and that's what I want right now.
Very good. Good night. See ya. All right,
Well,
guys.
thank you for participating, everybody, in this experiment tonight. It looks like it was successful, and but we'll return to our typical Twitter format next week.
Yes.
But thank you, everybody. It's great to see you all.
Yeah, it was good seeing you guys. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye, guys.
Bye. Have a good
Thanks.
night.
Bye.
See ya.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, guys.
I've got to figure out how to turn it off. Oh, there you go.
Don't worry, I'm going to turn it off for all of you. Here it comes.